Welcome to Ken Stories. Hope you enjoy listening to the story. In my previous life, my boyfriend and I scratched a winning lottery ticket worth 10 million yuan. I told him over and over again that this was our private property and we absolutely could not tell anyone else. But he told his younger brother everything as soon as he turned his back. My younger brother asked us to buy a villa for him to get married. I didn't agree. So he and his parents started a live stream criticizing me, causing me to be severely attacked by netizens. In the end, just because of that 10 million, they used a rope to strangle me to death, cut me into pieces, and fed me to the dogs. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the day I went to buy lottery tickets with my boyfriend. Meng Mong, there's a broken lottery ticket shop ahead. Why don't we hold hands and scratch a ticket together? Recently, there's been a buzz about holding hands with your lover to scratch lottery tickets. It's said to bring good luck. I squinted my eyes, my whole body trembling slightly. In my previous life, I also held hands with my boyfriend and scratched out a prize of 10 million yuan. At that time, I thought that it must be because of our deep feelings that God gave us such a blessing. I told him not to tell anyone about this, not even our parents. This is the capital for us to start our own lives. My boyfriend agreed, but before he could turn around, he told his parents everything. Not only did his parents take all 4 million from his share, they also targeted 3 million from mine. They even criticized me for donating 500,000 to remote areas. I didn't agree. So the whole family went live to criticize me, saying that I didn't sympathize with the elderly, saying that the lottery ticket was won by their son. I was just his girlfriend, but he took half of it. As a result, I was attacked by the online community exposed, and someone even sent a funeral wreath to my house. Zhang Wen was standing in front of the lottery shop with a dejected expression. He said, "Today is really unlucky. I scratched all 100 yuan, but didn't win a single penny. Let's go home. We are all students about to graduate, and we don't have much money left in our pockets. Scratching lottery tickets is just playing around." I gently comforted, "Don't be sad anymore. Winning is rare. It's better to focus on doing your job properly." "That's right, Meng Meng. Why don't you go for a walk alone? I have a friend who invited me out for a drink." I was hoping he would disappear quickly, nodding. Okay, you go. I'll buy some snacks and go back to school. Confirming that Zhang Wen had left the mall, I returned to the lottery shop alone, buying all 32 lottery tickets on the rack. I was eager to rent a room by the hour and didn't even have time to change my slippers before I started scratching. God really loves me. I just scratched the first ticket and won big, just like in my previous life, 10 million yuan. I looked at the remaining tickets, thinking that since I already bought them, they're all gone. I didn't expect to scratch another prize of 200,000 yuan. God really helped me. I tried to calm down, brought my ID card and a small-sized bank card used go to the provincial lottery centre to claim the prize. After paying the tax, I donated 1 million yuan to children in remote areas. As soon as I stepped out of the door, I saw Zhang Wen. Zhang Wen also saw me. Our eyes met in mid-air. Then he smiled happily, quickly walking over. "Meng Mong, how much did you win?" My heart skipped a beat now standing right in the prize redemption centre. Saying that you didn't win was clearly unreasonable. I looked straight into Zhang Wen's eyes, pretending to be happy and excited. I won 200,000 paid, 40,000 in personal income tax. Now I have 160 left. I plan to give my mother 100,000. What, are you stupid? Why did you give the money to your mother? With this money, it would be less miserable when we get married in the future. If I give it to my mother, she will definitely give it to my younger brother to marry. What do you think? So, why don't you worry about our future? Trong Van was both angry and tried to convince me to change my mind. I pretended to think and nodded, showing my agreement. What you said is right. Since I was little, my mother has been biased, only caring about her younger brother. Okay, wait for the lottery money to be transferred. I will leave it to you to keep considerate as saving for my future. Hearing that, Trong Van smiled brightly, praised me for being smart, and said that today he and his brothers came here just to enjoy the luck of the person with the same number. Who would have thought that the lucky person would be his girlfriend? After that, he pulled me to the lottery shop next door, bought 520 yuan worth of tickets, then held my hand and scratched each lottery ticket one by one. I looked at the two hands clasped together, only mockery remained in my eyes. Time passed, little by little, one ticket after another did not win anything. The highest prize was only 40 yuan. In total, the tickets only scratched off more than 200 yuan. Losing half of it, Zhang Wen immediately became gloomy. When he returned to the dormitory, he was still upset. Before leaving, he did not forget to remind Meng, when you get the money back, remember to transfer it to me for safekeeping. I will manage it for you. It is for our future. I nodded, smiled, and waved goodbye to him. In my heart, I thought, dream on, baby, don't even think about getting a cent. When I returned to my room, I immediately went online to hire a girl to pretend to be a rich young lady. The agreed price was 50,000 yuan if she successfully approached Zhang Wen. The coffee shop was quiet. I placed Zhang Wen's photo in front of the girl and started talking. Hello, I want you to pretend to be a rich young lady and seduce him to leave me. The girl's name is Huang Lo Nung. She introduced herself as her parents had both settled abroad and were doing business. She looked at her nails and smiled confidently. Little sister, don't worry, I've never failed in this matter and will even get a pretty good amount out of him. For a beautiful and sharp woman like Huang Lo Nung, who has the appearance of a rich young lady, even I, a girl, feel moved, let alone Trong Van, the kind of man who only knows how to love by sight. I had already set up the stage now, I just had to wait for the actor to perform. That afternoon, I didn't wait for Trong Van to ask for the lottery winnings, but took the initiative to cry tears and snot, running straight to the male dormitory, texting him as I ran. What should I do? My father had a sudden heart attack, costing more than 300,000 yuan. I have transferred all the lottery winnings yesterday to my father, but I am still short of more than 100,000 yuan. Wen, can you lend me some? I cried loudly downstairs in the dormitory. Almost all the students passing by knew that I was short of money, a lot of money. I waited downstairs for a long time, and finally Zhang Wen came out, his face full of impatience, pulled me to an empty corner and asked harshly, "What's going on?" "You just won the lottery yesterday, and your father fell ill today. Don't tell me you're deliberately making this up so you won't give me the money to keep." Being questioned by him, I pretended to be upset, took out my phone, opened the transfer history for him to see, then opened the chat between me and my mother. I said with tears in my eyes, "Look, what did I lie to you about? After all, I'm still short of 100,000 yuan, and my mother is borrowing money everywhere. He's my father, I can't just leave him alone." "Wen, didn't you say you'd give me 100,000 yuan as a dowry? Why don't you discuss it with your parents now and give it to me first? We're graduating soon anyway, and we'll get married after graduation." After saying that, I grabbed his shirt as if he was my last resort. Zhang Wen grabbed my hand and coaxed me. Meng, we have to think carefully about getting married. Let's do this. I still have 1,000 yuan. I'll transfer it to you first so I can go back and discuss it with my parents. After saying that, I stared at him. Zhang Wen reluctantly took out his phone to transfer money to me, and when he entered the password, he entered it wrong twice. "Don't worry, I'll go back and talk to my parents." After saying that, he quickly turned away, not even looking back. I wiped the corners of my eyes, the corners of my lips curled up slightly, received the money transfer, then sent a few more tearful messages to Zhang Wen. It's like I've fallen in love to the point where I can't leave. In order to perfect my role, I didn't even bother to go to the school's job fair on the night I returned home. But I didn't return to my home. My parents have been biased towards my younger brother since I was young, and even wanted to marry me off to an old man to get money for his wedding. I only walked around the hospital a few times, took a few pictures and sent them to Zhang Wen, continuously cried, texted him asking for the dowry, begged him to come to the hospital with me and act out a scene of real pain. But he always used the excuse that it was graduation season and there was too much work to refuse. It wasn't until I heard from Huang Lu Nung that she and Zhang Wen had become WeChat friends because of work, and Zhang Wen often took the initiative to text her. Half a month later, I returned to school. Trong Van had moved out to rent a house with his roommate. In my previous life, because we won the lottery, I suggested using that money to buy a house. But Zhang Wen didn't agree, saying that his job wasn't stable yet, so he ended up renting a large apartment near his workplace, and I paid a year's rent in advance. But in this life, he didn't even think about renting a house with me. Ever since he heard that my father was sick, he sent me fewer and fewer messages, and his couple profile pictures were secretly changed, clearly trying to create an image of being single. I waited downstairs at his company, and as soon as I saw him come out, I quickly suggested, "Why don't you live with your friend anymore? Let's rent a house together. It's more convenient for us to take care of each other." Zhang Wen glanced at me, and without thinking, he refused outright. "No, I've already told my roommate you should also go find a female roommate." I lowered my head, looking sad, and then heard Zhang Wen continue, "The main thing is that we're not married yet. Living together is not good for your reputation." I nodded, agreeing. Wen is really thoughtful. You have to quickly find a job. Your family still owes more than 10,000. Oh, Zhang Wen comforted, "Don't worry, I'm by your side. I will always be your most solid support." On the outside, I appeared touched, but inside I sneered. This broken support is still leaking wind. A few days later, when I texted Zhang Wen, he replied more and more slowly. The content of the conversation also became less. He didn't even make video calls when asked. He said he was busy. I divided the 7 million yuan into different banks, bought large certificates of deposit, and left 160,000 in my e-wallet. I didn't rent a house, I still stayed in the dormitory. My roommates had all found jobs and moved out, leaving me alone, very comfortable. A few days later, I heard from Wang Chao, Zhang Wen's roommate, that Zhang Wen was flirting with a rich girl online. At that time, I immediately reacted, "What nonsense are you talking about? We've known each other since our first year of college. He wouldn't do anything wrong to me." Wang Chao looked at me like I was an idiot and said, "It's up to you to believe it or not. I just thought you were pitiful, so I mentioned it." I silently said an apology in my heart, waited for him to leave, then immediately called Zhang Wen to tell him off, my voice very serious. "Wen, you can go to work with peace of mind." I didn't believe a word of Wang Chao's words. The phone rang with Zhang Wen's impatient voice. "Yeah, I'm still busy. I'll hang up first." I quickly interrupted before he could hang up. "Wen, can you transfer me a few hundred yuan? I haven't found a job yet, and now I don't have money to eat. You don't have money either, so you're working and haven't received your salary yet. Let me send you a red envelope, or you can go find a part-time job." Without waiting for my reply, Zhang Wen hung up. I opened the message and saw that he had sent me 52 yuan. Ha 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 ha, how generous. I suddenly remembered the time when I wanted to make him proud in front of his friends. I had been fasting, spending and saving up for so long to buy him a pair of shoes worth thousands of yuan. I suddenly realized that in life, you have to know how to put yourself first. As Zhang Wen wished, I applied for a temporary job as a hotel receptionist. 1 was to play my role well, 2 was to prepare for the next step. A few days later, Huang Lu Nung texted me the fish had taken the bait and it was about to end. I sent her the location of a hotel. Now I need to catch the adulterer. In my previous life, Zhang Wen not only had the heart to kill me, but also caused me to be tortured to death by netizens. In this life, I must repay him enough so that he can also taste the burning fire like I did. It must be said that Huang Lu Nung's speed of action was truly lightning fast. In less than a month, she had made Trong Van fall head over heels in love. That night, 3 days later, I received a text message from her. "Room 2236. I was supposed to have a day off, but because of such a good play, I took the initiative to switch shifts with my colleague." I hid in the corner of the first floor and saw Huang Lo Nung and Trong Van walking upstairs arm in arm. Trong Van's face looked ecstatically happy. 5 minutes later, I attached a micro camera to my hotel receptionist uniform and quickly walked upstairs straight to room 2306. Knock, knock, knock. I knocked on the door many times, but no one answered. Then I rang the bell. I vaguely heard Trong Van's annoyed voice coming from inside. Fuck, who is it knocking on the door at this hour? Followed by Huang Lo Nung's soft, coaxing voice. Or you should go and check, maybe they got the wrong room. If you don't go out, they will keep knocking. How can you stand it? As soon as she finished speaking, I knocked a few more times, each time getting stronger, as if I wanted to break the door. Baby is right. Wait for me a bit. I'll be right back. A few seconds later, the door opened. I was wearing a hotel staff uniform looking straight into Trong Van's eyes. He was only wearing a towel revealing his pale skin and skinny body, his face full of discomfort. Hey, there's a free room upgrade program at the hotel. I suddenly raised my head, and when I saw Trong Van standing there, I pretended to be extremely shocked. The introduction had not yet finished when I stopped. I questioned Trong Van. Why are you here? Is there someone in there? Are you having an affair behind my back? I asked 2 questions in a row, my whole body trembling, my eyes red and tears falling non-stop. From the initial stunned state, Trong Van gradually calmed down, calmly said, "Since you saw it, I won't hide it anymore, let's break up." As a girlfriend who loved Trong Van blindly, of course, I was unwilling to break up. I screamed until my voice was hoarse. "Break up, I don't agree. Let's see which vixen has the nerve to seduce you." I deliberately shouted loudly. At this time, the hallway around room 236 was already filled with onlookers. Everyone was pointing and gossiping, some even took out their phones to film. It was exactly the effect I needed. Jiang Wen immediately pushed me to the side. He used so much force that my back hit the wall, it hurt like hell. The last straw, all the old grievances had piled up. I gritted my teeth and used all my strength to slam him into the opposite wall, then, without saying a word, slapped these 2 on the face. The crowd of onlookers grew larger and larger. Even the hotel staff came to watch the gossip. Things like this always attract people. Jiang Wen, we've been in love for almost 4 years. 4 years of love. That's almost laughable. Yet you dare to secretly bring girls into the hotel. When we were in love, I went without food and clothes to buy you a pair of shoes worth thousands of yuan. Yet you dare to betray me. You're really a piece of shit. Damn it. As I spoke, I rushed to scratch his face, leaving long bloody streaks. Trong Van glared at me, probably not expecting that I, who had always been obedient, would dare to make a big deal out of this in front of so many people. "Hey, stop filming! What does this have to do with you?" Trong Van shouted, looking around with angry eyes, but no one would put down their phones. He dragged me out of the hotel, clearly wanting to calm down the scandal, but how could I let him achieve his goal? The good part of beating up the mistress hadn't even begun yet. I suddenly turned around and rushed straight into room 2306. "Aha, it's you. You must have seduced Trong Van. Today I'll beat you to death." As soon as I rushed in, I screamed loudly, attracting everyone's attention. I struggled as if I wanted to rush in and beat up Huang Lo Nung. Of course, Trong Van wouldn't let me really beat him. He didn't want his beauty to be touched, especially a rich young lady like Huang Lo Nung. Before my hand could touch her, Trong Van had already knocked me to the ground. My arm hit the thick carpet. It didn't hurt much, but I cried as if the sky was about to fall. I quickly glanced back. A few brave people were still filming, some even stepped into the room to film closer. You dare to hit me because of her? Is she that important? Tell me, since when have you 2 been secretly seeing each other? If you don't talk, don't expect peace. Trong Van sighed, looking at me like I was looking at a pile of trash. Stop making a fuss. Let's break up peacefully. Not hearing the answer I wanted, I immediately picked up the pillow on the bed and threw it straight at Huang Lo Nung, then grabbed the teacup and threw it at Trong Van. This had to be made as big as possible because I was the victim and I had to let the whole world know about it. Huang Lo-nung hid in the blanket, wrapped it so tightly that not even a strand of hair was exposed. Even though I threw it at him, he didn't dare to make a sound. Trong Van was hit in the leg by me. I could still clearly hear him groan softly. This act finally ended when the police arrived. Being taken to the police station, I cried until my voice was hoarse, screaming as if I was about to faint, to the point that I had to admire my own acting so real that I couldn't even tell the difference between real and fake. The three of us were given a good ideological education by the police. I just kept on following him, refusing to let go. In the end, Jiang Wen had to transfer 10,000 yuan as compensation to me as a breakup fee and mental damage. Although he was extremely unwilling, he still had to transfer it to me. I looked at the 10,000 yuan on my phone, thinking to myself that Jiang Wen really had money. After leaving the police station, Jiang Wen glanced at me with a look full of disgust, as if he was afraid that I would continue to cling to him, then turned to coax Huang Lo-nung and the two left together. That night, while I was browsing short videos, I saw the keyword female student caught in the act climb straight to the top of the hot search. I used the sub-account I had created earlier to post the entire video, and even bought more interactions. After just one night, the post had more than 100,000 shares and comments. This time, it was my turn to be the victim so that Jiang Wen could also taste what it was like to be scolded by a stranger. That night, I opened a live stream as netizens wished telling the whole story. I didn't try to act pitiful, but I still received a lot of sympathy. The comments in the live stream room were almost all cursing Trong Van. Taking that opportunity, I said that no matter how much we love someone, we must put ourselves first. After the live stream ended, I felt light all over. Finally, I was about to get rid of Trong Van. The lottery ticket story was also over. I was about to start a completely new life. In the following days, Trong Van and I became the center of everyone's gossip. I saw with my own eyes that he was being pointed at by others. Friends said that once when I ordered food from outside, they added special spices, and when I went out, people threw crushed vegetables at me. I felt extremely happy, especially when my roommate who used to live with him couldn't stand the gossip and kicked him out of the house. Jiang Wen returned to school miserably, but how unlucky was it that she bumped into us? I let out a cold laugh and raised my head to walk straight into the sunlight. Jiang Wen stared at me, glaring angrily. As the matter gradually spread, I made an appointment to meet Huang Lo-nung. It was still the same coffee shop, the same seat, but this time she looked completely different. Her whole body was bright and radiant. I spoke first. "Thank you very much. This time you can find a chance to break up with Jiang Wen. I will transfer the remaining 30,000 yuan to you later." I had previously transferred her 20,000 yuan when she and Jiang Wen officially dated. Huang Lo-nung nodded gently, lifting her hair unintentionally, revealing her charm. Actually, her ex-boyfriend wasn't bad. I still found him interesting, not bored yet. He treated me quite well. Maybe we'll have to wait a while longer before breaking up. "Do you mind?" I took a sip of coffee, calmly replying, "No problem, whatever." My eyes stopped at the sparkling gold bracelet on her wrist, looking brand new, as if she had just bought it yesterday. That was good. As if she felt my gaze, she deliberately raised her wrist, showing it off proudly. "He bought this for me. It cost more than 30,000 yuan. He said he would buy it. And bought it without a second's hesitation, plus a bunch of new clothes and jewelry." I looked at her radiant, happy face and gently reminded her, "The bracelet is really beautiful, but he bought it because he thought you were rich. What he wanted was not love, but benefits." After saying that I didn't care if she listened or not, picked up my bag and walked away. To be honest, seeing Jiang Wen willing to spend more than 30,000 yuan to buy a gold bracelet for Huang Lo-nung, I felt a little uncomfortable. We've been in love for nearly 4 years, but he has never given me a decent gift. But I quickly figured it out. In Jiang Wen's heart, only himself and his family are important. I've almost finished handling the matter here. Now I only have one more week to wait to get my diploma, and then I will leave this city and start over. Before the day of receiving my diploma, Jiang Wen suddenly sent me a WeChat friend request saying he wanted to talk. I had nothing to say to him, so I pretended not to see it. Not long after, he added my WeChat again. He even used a sub-account to send me a long letter of apology begging me to forgive him. I didn't reply, but a feeling of unease rose in my heart, just hoping to get my diploma tomorrow morning and leave this scarred city as soon as possible. But that night, Jiang Wen acted up in front of the girls' dormitory, filling the yard with candles and flowers and even holding a loudspeaker and shouting loudly, "Meng Meng, you've realized your mistake. Please give me another chance. Today in front of everyone, if I do something wrong to you in the future, I will be hit by a car and die. And if I eat, I will die of hunger." Trong Van's appearance was quite eye-catching, and with this dramatic apology, many classmates who did not know the ins and outs cheered and gathered around to watch the drama. Suddenly, I felt more and more uneasy. Something was definitely wrong. Trong Van was originally an arrogant person. Even if he was wrong, he would never lower himself to apologize in front of a crowd, especially the last time in the hotel. He did not even bother to pretend to be sorry. My intuition told me that he definitely knew something, probably from Huang Lo Nung, and then to the lottery shop to check that night there was a commotion until midnight. And finally the dorm manager came down to intervene. Only then did Trong Van leave his face full of regret. The next morning before dawn, I had already changed my ticket and prepared to catch the earliest train to S City. As for my diploma, I asked a friend to get it for me and send it to me by express mail. Even though the academic advisor was not happy, I still gritted my teeth and asked for leave. I really didn't want to be followed by Trong Van anymore. That night I stayed up almost all night. After 400 a.m., I put on my small backpack, put on a mask, and quietly left the dormitory. As soon as I stepped out of the school gate, I immediately saw 3 people who made me grit my teeth in hatred: Truong Van's parents and his younger brother Truong Vu. I saw them look at me and immediately lower their heads to compare the photo in their hands with my face several times. Truong Van's mother spoke first. That's right, it was her. This little girl had cheated all the money my family had saved for retirement. I was stunned, and without even guessing, I knew who had put this pot on my head. I was about to turn around and run back to the dormitory when I turned around and saw Trong Van standing right behind me, a smile on his face full of fear. "Mong Mong, so early in the morning, where are you going?" I didn't reply, thinking about how to escape from them. Truong Van smiled. "Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. These are my parents and this is my younger brother, Truong Vu. Don't you want to marry me? Hurry up and say hello to your parents." I glared at him and said coldly, "Trong Van, are you crazy? We've already broken up." I didn't even bother to save face, for their family turned around and left, but the 3 of them blocked my way. It was just past 400 in the morning, the sky was still dark, there was not a single person around. What if we broke up? We can still go back. 4 years of love, I don't want to go back. If you guys block my way, I'll call the police. Jiang Wen suddenly grabbed my hand. The veins on his neck popped out, gritting each word through his teeth. Call the police. Damn it, it's all your fault, Tang Meng. What do you mean by hiring a fake rich girl to harm me and making a scene, crying loudly at the hotel? Was it all your plan? Those who know say you won 10 million, those who don't think you won 100 million. I struggled to get away and looked at him suspiciously. What nonsense are you talking about? When will I win 10 million? Are you imagining it? The lottery shop will never reveal the winner's information. Jiang Wen was probably just guessing. I shook my head and continued. As for Huang Lu Nung, I just wanted to test whether you were sincere with me, but unfortunately you failed that test. You never truly loved me. Jiang Wen sneered, laughing out of anger. Stop pretending you won 10 million and didn't want to share it with me, and you're still trying to talk about sincerity and insincerity. Winning 10 million after tax, there's 8,000 left. You gave me 3 million yuan. I'll pretend nothing happened. I laughed. In my previous life, I really believed in true love, so I gave Jang Wen the money. What did I get in return? I was strangled to death by my lover. After I died, there wasn't even a single intact body. Even more cruel, my body was chopped up and fed to the dogs. I looked straight at Jang Wen and gritted my teeth, saying each word. I don't have any money. If you have the guts, then kill me now. As soon as he finished speaking, Trong Van glared at me for a long time, his eyes as if he no longer recognized me. Immediately after that, he rushed forward and strangled me. Damn it, do you think I don't dare to kill you? Because of you, I used my parents' retirement money to buy things for Huang Lo Nung and even borrowed money from black credit for him. Now I have nothing left. Tang Meng, you forced me to this point. Let's go to hell together. My neck was aching. I struggled and hit his hand hard out of survival instinct. I nodded repeatedly to survive. Seeing me nod, Jang Wen's parents immediately rushed over to pull him away. Ah Wen, be gentle, don't really kill him. What else can you ask for money after he dies? Jang Wen was unwilling but still let go. He said, transfer the money to me. I rubbed my neck, gasping for breath, and nodded. I only won 200,000. I paid taxes and had 160,000 left, gave 50,000 to your girlfriend, spent some, now I only have 100,000 left. Damn it, Tang Meng, do you want to die? Jang Wen shouted, raising his hand to rush in and hit me again. I quickly bent down and held my head and shouted loudly, even if you beat me to death, I only have 100,000, not 10 million. Seeing the fist about to hit my face, I turned to Trong Vu and begged him, trembling, please don't let your brother beat me again. Beating people is illegal. Don't beat me at the school gate. What if someone sees Trong Vu pull Trong Van's hand back? Trong Van's parents also rushed in to stop him. Let's move somewhere else, Trong Vu said. Trong Van nodded. I quickly shouted, don't you guys are breaking the law like this? Humph, I'm about to die. What are you afraid of breaking the law? Trong Van covered my mouth and dragged me away. Trong Vu lifted my legs. I was carried away like a pig waiting to be slaughtered. A few minutes later, I was thrown to the ground. My mouth, still covered my appearance at that time, was indescribable. Trong Van kicked me in the back, shouted, give me 300,000 or I'll beat you to death. He was about to continue kicking a few more times when suddenly 5 or 6 men rushed over, holding Jang Wen and his family. The leading man helped me up. I dusted off my body, the place where I was kicked still ached, then coldly turned around and slapped Jang Wen straight in the face with a fierce slap. Hit me! You were so aggressive just now, and you guys, aren't you going to kill me? I smiled slowly, kicking them a few times to vent my anger. Last night, right after I felt that something was wrong with Jang Wen, I hired a few bodyguards that night. In my previous life, I was killed by his whole family. In this life, I'm not stupid enough to dare to go out alone. You bitch, you dare to hire bodyguards. You ruined my life. You won't have a good ending. Jang Wen screamed. Each curse was vicious and endless. I laughed. That's right, in my previous life, I died miserably, but in this life, I will live well. I turned to ask the man leading the bodyguards, have you filmed the whole video? Don't worry, we've filmed every angle. You can't escape. I nodded, feeling relieved. At this moment, Jang Wen's mother suddenly spoke up, her voice trembling. Girl, this old lady didn't do anything. Please spare me. I will pray for you every day. And me, this old man didn't do anything either. My youngest son doesn't know anything either. It was all Jang Wen's doing. I stared at the 3 of them. Jang Wen's mother continued. That's right, it was Jang Wen who forced us to come you, and I don't have any grudge. Why would I harm you? I nodded slightly coldly, asking, really? Really, it's all Jang Wen's fault, the 3 of them said in unison. Jang Wen stood beside me, his face showing shock. Then he seemed to suddenly understand something. He looked at me, smiled bitterly. It was all my idea. I was unwilling, so I did it. My parents and my younger brother are both innocent. I smiled, my voice still gentle. Trong Van, you always think about your parents and younger brother, but in their eyes you are not that important. In the previous life, the four of them conspired to kill me no matter how much I cried and begged. Trong Van and Trong Vu still brutally attacked, and his parents stood by and said I was dirty, polluting their family. No one in their family was decent. Very quickly the police arrived. Because of the sufficient evidence, and there was also a surveillance camera in front of the school gate. Truong Van was prosecuted for threatening and intentionally causing injury and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. As for Trong Vu and his parents for complicity and supporting the crime, each received 5 years in prison. No matter how much they cried and begged, the police did not reduce the punishment. When I left the police station, the weather was extremely beautiful. The sun had just risen, and the gentle sunlight shone down on me, strangely warm. After getting my diploma, Huang Lu Nung asked me to meet her at the coffee shop again. Out of curiosity, I agreed. It was the same shop, the same seat, the same taste of coffee. But this time, Huang Lu Nung was no longer as radiant as before. Her face was pale, the corners of her lips were purple, and there were countless red marks on her hands. "She's here," she forced a smile. I nodded. She raised her hand to stir her coffee and said, "I used to think he really loved me, really wanted to take care of me, was willing to spend money for me. You know, compared to all the men I had met before, he was completely different. He was gentle, tender, and treated me like a treasure." I didn't say anything, just sat quietly listening to Huang Lo Nung speak. She smiled bitterly, her voice full of bitterness, but it was all fake. He loved the fake identity I created, loved the label of a rich young lady, loved my money. All those sweet actions were just pretense. When he discovered the truth at first, he still acted as loving as before. When I let my guard down, he said he wanted to buy a house and get married. I gave him all my savings, and then he started beating me. He also sold all the things he had given me. How funny. I clearly knew that no one truly loved me, but I still deceived myself. I bowed my head, took a sip of coffee, and calmly said, "I've told you for a long time, learn to love yourself in the future." Huang Lu Nung nodded, her voice tired. "Yeah, luckily he's been arrested now. I also got some of the money back, so it's not too much of a loss." Leaving the coffee shop, I received a phone call from the police. They said that Jiang Wen insisted on seeing me one last time, or he would commit suicide, and asked me to come. I took a taxi to the detention center and was led inside by the police. In the cramped cell, Jiang Wen was handcuffed, holding the phone close to his ear. I also picked up the receiver. Jiang Wen's choked voice came through the phone. Meng, these past few days I've been having dreams, very real dreams. I dreamed that the two of us hand in hand scratched the jackpot prize of 10 million. I said that it was money for the two of us to build a home and that we couldn't tell our parents, but he stubbornly told me and wanted to use that money to pay for my younger brother's wedding. I didn't agree. In the end, he killed me. Then he married a girl who pretended to be a hot girl online and was scammed out of all his money to the point where he had no home to return to. I suddenly raised my head. It turned out that in his previous life, Trong Van didn't have a good ending either. After that dream, he kept thinking if he had listened to me at that time, the two of us would have used that money to live a simple life, and we would have been very happy. Meng, tell me, was that dream real? I clenched the receiver, my voice cold. It was just a dream. It wasn't real. He couldn't tell the difference between a dream and reality. In his previous life, he and I had indeed scratched out a prize of 10 million. I smiled softly, my voice cold as ice. There was nothing more to say between him and me. From now on, we would be considered strangers. As soon as I finished speaking, I was about to put down the phone when I heard Jiang Wen softly say, "I wish you peace and happiness." I pretended not to hear, resolutely put down the receiver, turned around and left the detention center. No matter what, in this life, Jiang Wen and I would never have any contact again. Let the past go. Outside the detention center, the weather was beautiful. I transferred 100,000 yuan to my parents as a way to repay their kindness. In the blue sky, the plane drew a long white streak. I sat on the plane, closed my eyes to rest, my heart filled with aspirations for the future. My life had just truly begun. Thank you for listening to the story at Ken Stories. I hope you have relaxing and fun moments. Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe so I have more motivation to make more videos.